Hi. Are you proud of yourself, freak? Yeah, good job saving the world, defeating the final boss, doing whatever it is you heroes do. Yeah, I sure hope you didn't put too much efforts in, that would be stupid. A lot of games, but RPGs most often, have a big dilemma to face. They want to tell you a story through the medium that is video games. A very incredible and interactive one. And the problem is, it's interactive and you kind of have to account for the lowest denominator. Yeah, not everyone is good at gaming, and there's a wide spectrum of people that goes from the person that's optimizing every turn to the person who doesn't really know the difference between tackle and hyper beam. That's how most games try to find ways to tell the stories, make themselves accessible to everyone, either by lowering the general difficulty of the game, or by allowing you to choose the difficulty in itself, or by keeping a low difficulty, but doing funny little things for people that still want the challenge out of it. Super bosses are born from that idea of giving the people who are spending, quite frankly, a copious and worrying amount of brain time on your game, something to kind of put their teeth on for longer than 5 seconds. I've mentioned RPGs because this is often the genre of game that kind of needs this the most, but honestly, a lot of different genres do it too. But what is a super boss? First off, it's an optional guy. You don't need to finish the game to defeat it. If you don't, that's just a bad difficulty spike, and that's just bad game design. Now, it's not to say super bosses can't be a bad design, Elizabeth, but generally speaking, they kind of do assume that you have more knowledge of how the game works, etc. And that you're willing to explore beyond what was needed of you before, which does equate to a difficulty spike of sorts. Because, second point, they often kind of cheat on the rules of the game, as you know them, or they introduce something that was never here before. They use mechanics, they'll ask you to do things that you've never been used to, or they have some extraordinary attributes like resistance to all magic or that kind of bullshit. They have something new and unique and kind of game-breaking in the literal sense of the term to bring to the table. And those I feel like are the two hard requirements. Now, you could say that they only give bragging rights rewards, but that's not always true. You could say they're never linked to the game story, but that's also not always true. I feel like those are the very two big points. Now, I could talk about Final Fantasy, which loves doing this. Honestly, there's a lot of RPG I know that love doing this. But first, I want to talk about the example that really solidifies it for me, and that's Kingdom Hearts. Now, due to the Final Fantasy going through its bloodstream, Kingdom Hearts loves introducing super bosses. And honestly, it has too much. Sometimes, in a single game, you can have like 5 super bosses, and I feel like that's a bit much. But then again, you could tell me, Citron, Final Fantasy often has like a lot of them, like way more. Yes, but Kingdom Hearts super bosses are different, man. You know that ability in Kingdom Hearts that makes it so that you don't die if you're above 1 HP at least once? Yeah, that's a requirement. Not all of them are equal. For example, Kingdom Hearts 1 Sephiroth. Hard, difficult, makes me want to kill myself. Kingdom Hearts 2 Sephiroth. Honestly, it's fine. He has a trolling move at the beginning that will instantly kill you if you don't succeed at a QTE that you kind of don't expect. But other than that, it's honestly a fair fight. He has a very similar move than in Kingdom Hearts 1 with a few different things, new and tweaked. But because Sora is himself stronger and more versatile in Kingdom Hearts 2, it's way easier to stomp him. Not the lingering will though. Yeah, that guy, he has mad attack, he has good reach, he spams magic, he can lock your controls, he can simply murder you, he is mean. You have to master Kingdom Hearts 2 to beat this guy. Like, I remember that I felt like the strongest, smartest person for abusing Vanitas, using mines and a lot of dodge rolls. Turns out that's just how you're supposed to beat this guy. Also, fuck everyone that's unknown and foreshadowing for the next game in Kingdom Hearts. They're often huge pains in the ass. Kingdom Hearts 1, at least, you have some ways to cheese him, but God, young Xehanort in buff racing sucks dick. Wait, is that a spoiler? Oh shit. Is that a spoiler? Oh you have played Kingdom Hearts, right? Shit. Oh yeah, at any rate, after a few tries, all that's left is to consult a guide, get good, or kill yourself. You have to choose. Now, of course, the plague has spread, and devs could just let RPGs have all the fun. Street Fighter! Yeah, I bet you didn't expect that guy. Hey, no, in the video about super bosses. Tell me, what does that count as? Oh, this is a hidden boss. This is a SNK boss. No, bitch, that's a super boss. Akuma was the one that kicked out the tradition in Street Fighter, which consisted in teaching you that you really aren't all that if you're doing too good, mostly at arcade mode, but sometimes also if you're doing too good against player in an arcade, which is kind of crazy. He'll just sweep by and kill Bison if you reach him too fast or if you have too high a score. And Akuma? You're strong, man. The boss version of Akuma has better damage, better frames, better moves. He can sometimes use moves that require super meter without using spend meter. And his AI. He doesn't have a smart AI. He has a cheating AI. He just reads your input and sees if he can punish you instantly. And most of the time, yes he can. Now Akuma is not the only one to pull that kind of bullshit. You have characters like Oni also doing that kind of thing, or Evil Ryu. It's a Street Fighter thing, honestly. They just love doing that kind of bullshit. And what can I say? I get them. Now, I could talk to you about Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 as another example of Superbosses reaching new ground. I'm gonna talk to you about Kirby instead. Yeah, Kirby also has needs for violence sometimes. Don't be a jerk, you have to share. The Arena and the True Arena are the boss rushes mode of Kirby. The Arena is just straight up all the bosses you fought in the main story, and the True Arena often bases itself on the Extra mode. What's the Extra mode? It depends on the game. Sometimes you're Meta Knight, sometimes you just have the HP because fuck you, that's why. Oftentimes bosses in these modes are upgraded to have new moves or new tricks of any kind. And then the boss starts to have like his face split out in two, or have blood out of his eye, or just get generally possessed. Oftentimes you'll have True Arena exclusive bosses in Kirby. The bosses of the Soul variety are a good example, like Mark's Soul or Magolor Soul, which exist to kill you. Although none offend me quite as Star Dream, which has a move that can one-shot you unless you're at full HP and then it just removes 99% of your HP. Thanks! Is this such a shock for a game like Kirby to actually have hands when it tries? But I felt like it kind of warranted discussion. No, that can't be right. What are you, a super boss? Sonic Frontiers! What? Great game, great bosses, a lot of spectacle, not a ton of difficulty, but it knows how to kind of put these hands up too when it wants. And then you reach the last island. Yeah, Rodos Island kinda sucks. It's a repeat of Chronos visually, and you don't have a lot of things to do, and you're kind of on the game's last breath, and you can kind of feel that it's tired in a lot of aspects. And more importantly, the boss, Supreme, is a fucking letdown. Now, there are multiple factors into this. First off is the boss in itself is a coward. There's no better way to say it. This is kind of like when you're queuing for top in jungle and you end up in the mid lane. He keeps trying to kite you over and over again. And unlike Wyvern, which you had a high octane chase through the skies, kind of like running after the bitch, being like, please stay still, I'm trying to kill you. Other than that, Supreme, despite being the last Titan boss before the true final boss, is not geared to actually handling max level players. And progression Sonic Frontiers is very free and it's very easy to max out Sonic early. Never mind at the last island, at which point you've definitely probably maxed at least his attack out. And he can't handle that. And finally, I love I'm Here as a track. It doesn't make for a good boss fight music. Compared to Undefeatable or Break Through It All, or Find Your Flame too. Those are tracks that even in their phase 1 instrumental versions really set up the intensity of the fight and helps prop it up to even bigger heights despite, again, those not being very difficult fight. But yeah, I'm Here just is too slow a song, and again, by the time you put the boss into phase 2, you'll probably kill him before the music really starts proper, and it's all around a shame. And then you have a second phase, which is Ikaruga. Listen, Kirby does it. And do you know why Kirby does it successfully? Because there's always a good boss fight that goes along with it. You can do a gimmick final boss, but it kind of needs to be a gimmick final boss phase, and not a gimmick final boss, otherwise you kind of lose a bad taste in your mouth. Especially in a game that had such great final bosses, and especially in a game that had such great bosses and a lackluster phase 1 in Supreme. And then came Update 3, Rodos Island. You get to play, or most likely replay, the island. It was now a Mario Maker stage? Yeah, there's not exactly a lot of polish on that one. But you get tons of challenges that were rarely or never asked out of you. You're asked to actually do rail jumps, to actually do proper platforming. In Sonic Frontiers, you'll be asked to actually put some thoughts into how you fight. You will be asked to time your parries, and day by day. But it sure was difficult at first, especially on bosses that are not made to be parried with the timing taken into account. I hate you, Master King, and I hate you, Wyvern. At the end of this grueling section, you will get to fight Supreme again, and he hasn't changed. But then comes the real fight of this update with Supreme DN, and that is actually a difficult fight, what the fuck? Yeah, I actually didn't finish it the first time. I kinda got wiped by a supernova, but honestly that was anime, I'm not mad. You can't even parry this guy's attacks at first, and each time he does land an attack, he will reduce your maximum rings. Not just your rings, but your maximum rings as Super Sonic. It takes Sonic going Super Saiyan Kaioken for him to actually be able to parry moves, and then again, you're only locked to perfect parries, which does require strict timing. Although this time the boss actually has this taken into account, so his telegraphs are way clearer than someone like Supreme. It's way more difficult than the other Titan fights, and it's after this long series of challenge. And does it count as a super boss? Kind of stretching the definition, aren't I? At any rate, super bosses are something I really like to scrutinize in a game. Now, there is challenge and challenge, and super bosses are definitely on the challenge side, but I feel like people still like them because they're only for the masochists that actually look for them, and they definitely get their money's worth. There's still a part of me that actually enjoys games that know how to tread the line and give us actually difficult bosses that land in the middle, where they're challenging for most people, but they can learn and actually defeat them. But that requires proper game design. I'm being a bitch. I know it's difficult, it's not easy, etc. But you can see what I mean, right? Having a game feel this easy the entire time, and then get extremely suddenly difficult out of nowhere, feels weird. But I'm, again, also being a hypocrite because I do love super bosses. It's just that in my favorite world, there would be a step beyond and not just all that the game has to offer in terms of difficulty. Do RPG's raids count as super bosses? They're not linked to the story, they're optional, and they're definitely bringing some new kind of bullshit. They're extremely difficult. If you ask me, they're super bosses, but I don't know, I'm just stupid, who knows? Is Carbacol a super boss in Puyo Puyo Fever? He only appears if you do either no continues or too many continues, as he exists to punish your existence, one way or the other. Smashed Satan? He appears if you suck so much you're about to get kicked out of arcade mode. Does it count? If you have to suck, he's not difficult, so no, it doesn't count. Wrestle Titan technically has super bosses. Yep, that's it. That's where I draw the line. Bye. Please imagine me leaving. I'm a nobody. I'm not a Heartless. I'm not gonna move the cat.